Hello everyone and welcome back to this Kubernetes Zero to Hero series. In the previous video, we learned about Kubernetes namespaces and how they help organize resources inside a cluster. Today, we are going to learn one of the most important skills in Kubernetes. Have you ever run this command? So let's say kubectl apply -f deploy.yaml file and you get this error. Error converting YAML to JSON. Line number 4 did not find the expected key. Now you will look at the YAML file. Everything seems perfectly fine. You spend the next 30 minutes staring at these lines of code only to discover you missed two spaces. If this has ever happened to you, don't worry. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how YAML works, how Kubernetes reads it, and how to write your own manifest file confidently. Let's get started. Now, before we write YAML, let's answer one simple question. Why does Kubernetes even use YAML? Kubernetes follows something called the declarative model. Instead of telling Kubernetes every step to perform, you simply describe the final state you want. For example, instead of saying pull the image and then create 3 containers and then expose port 80, we will simply say I want 3 Nginx pods running on port 80. Kubernetes continuously works to make the actual state match the desired state you have described in your YAML manifest file. Think of Kubernetes as the builder and YAML as the blueprint. Just like a builder needs a blueprint before constructing a building, Kubernetes needs a YAML manifest before it knows what application you want to deploy. Alright, the first thing you need to know is that YAML is incredibly simple. It consists of mainly two things. One is your key value pairs. So think of the key value pair as answering a simple question. The key tells us what we are describing and the value tells us the actual information. So here in this case, name is the key, Nginx is the value, image is the key, Nginx colon latest is the value. Now always remember the value appears after the colon. That's it. The second structure is a list. List always starts with a dash, like in this case -nginx -redis. Now this is a list. So whenever Kubernetes expects multiple values, you will usually use a list. So whenever you want to pass multiple values, you will always use this dash, which is nothing but using a list. Now here's the most important rule. Indentation matters. Whenever you are talking about your YAML is all about your indentations. Unlike many programming languages, YAML does not use braces. To understand why YAML is so popular, let's compare it with JSON. So here on the left hand side we have JSON and here on the right hand side we have YAML. Now both describe exactly the same information, but notice how much cleaner and easier YAML is to read. That's why Kubernetes documentation almost always uses YAML. So there's no braces, there's no comma. It's all about your indentation. So YAML is all about making it easier for humans to read the manifest files. Whereas your JSON, you can see we have curly braces, we have quotes, we have comma. YAML, we don't have any such things. Now, another important thing to remember is that YAML heavily relies on indentation using spaces to represent hierarchy. So here, this is an example of a correct YAML and this is an incorrect YAML. So you can observe the indentation over here. Your YAML, your indentation matters a lot in your YAML. If you don't have the indentations, your manifest, your YAML will fail to parse the manifest file, right? So even though it looks almost the same, the YAML parser interprets them differently. So Kubernetes cannot understand the manifest correctly. And this is one of the most common reasons for your YAML errors. All right, now let's look at the Kubernetes manifest structure. All right, so almost every Kubernetes object follows the same pattern. You will have the API version, you will have the kind, you'll have the metadata, and you will have the spec. Now these 4 sections appear in almost every Kubernetes manifest you will ever write. Once you understand them, reading Kubernetes YAML becomes much easier. Let's think of this as filling out a form. Every Kubernetes object asks for these 4 basic pieces of information. So API version is basically where we are telling Kubernetes which API version to use. So in this case, we are telling V1. So depending on the kind of object you are creating, you will be having different API version. For service, it is V1. For deployments, it's a different API version. For pods, it's a different API version, and then so on. Next, you have the kind. Now this is where we specify the object that you want to create. So in this case, we're telling that we want to create a service. Likewise, if you want to create a pod or a deployment, that information goes in kind. Then we have the metadata. Now this is where you provide information about the object that you're creating. Things like name of the object, or the namespace where you want to create the object, or any labels information that you want to pass. You will pass that in your metadata. And then finally we have the spec. Now this is where you define the desired state, like how many replicas you want, what container image to use, what ports to use. All that information goes under your spec. And as you can see here, the indentation, this is very important with your YAML. So everything Kubernetes needs is declared in these 4 sections: API version, kind, metadata, and spec. Once you understand these 4 sections, you can read almost any Kubernetes manifest file. Alright, now that we understand the basics of YAML, let's use everything we have learned to create our very first Kubernetes deployment. So let me come out of this and I'll create a new file. So let's say YAML basics.yml, and then we start filling in the sections that you want to create. So first is going to be my API version, and then the API version will be apps/v1. Then comes my kind, so basically the object that you want to create. So in my case, I want to create a deployment. Then comes my metadata. So basically information about the resources that we want to create. So let's say I want to give it a name. So let's call this as Nginx demo. Next, you will be adding the specification for your deployment, whatever you want to create. So we will start with specs and then the replicas. So let's say it is set to 3. Basically, I want 3 pods to be running. Now we will tell Kubernetes which pods belong to this particular deployment. So for that, we will use the selector, and then we will tell match labels, and then we will tell this is the label that you should be looking for. Finally, we will define the pod template. So basically what image to use, what port numbers to use, and all that information. So template, and here we will again pass the metadata, we will pass the labels, and the labels would be app nginx, and then the spec. So this particular spec is for your container image and all those things. So all this, it falls under this particular spec section. So spec, and then containers, and then the name of the container. So here you can see how I'm using a list. So this dash basically indicates that we are passing a list. And then the image that you want to use. So in my case, I want to use the Nginx, let's say 1.25, and then the port information. So what ports you want to use for this particular container. And again, I'll use my list, and I'll say container port, and then the port number that you want to specify. So this becomes my manifest file, and you can see the structure as well. So we have the API version, we have kind, we have metadata, and then the spec. And this is where we pass all the necessary information for your pod to be created. So let me save this file, and let's go ahead and apply this. So kubectl apply -f YAML basics, and you can see my Nginx demo is created. So if you notice something here, we never told Kubernetes how to create the pods. We only described the desired state in our YAML file, and Kubernetes figured out the rest. That's the power of declarative configuration. Now let's verify it. So we will do a kubectl get deployments, and here you can see I have my Nginx pod, so 3 of 3 pods running. Now let's verify our pods. So kubectl get pods, and here you can see there are 3 pods that are created, right? Congratulations, you have just created your first Kubernetes deployment using YAML. Now let's go ahead and describe this. So kubectl describe deployment and the name of my deployment. Now, take a moment to look through the output. You will notice information as the number of replicas that you have defined, your labels, your selectors, your events over here, and much more. Whenever you're troubleshooting a deployment, Kubernetes describe is one of the first commands that you should run. Now, before we move on, here's a quick productivity tip that will save you a lot of time. If you're using VS Code, I highly recommend installing the Kubernetes and YAML extensions. They provide auto completion and catch many mistakes before you even apply the manifest. So in my case, what I did was I had to kind of type in everything over here. But if you have a VS Code or something, and with the extensions, you can avoid many syntax errors which can happen if you're writing things manually. All right, now before we finish, let's look at three common mistakes that you might encounter when you're working with YAML. The first is using tabs instead of spaces. So here if you see this one, I have used tabs, whereas here I have used spaces. Now both are same, you can't really tell the difference, but in this case I have used a tab. For example, this particular line, that's my tab, right? And this is my spaces. So always use spaces when you're working with your YAML. Do not use tabs. All right. The second mistake is incorrect indentation. So one extra space or missing spaces can completely change the structure. So here if you say I have extra space, whereas here I have a missing space. So this can also cause issues with your YAML parser. Your YAML parser will throw an error. So in this case, like if I'm missing a space or if I'm giving extra space, that can also be a problem. So always try to follow a standard of two spaces. That's the standard that is recommended. The third mistake you might see is forgetting that Kubernetes validates the structure. If you're unsure about a field, like let's say if you're working with deployment and you don't know whether a field goes in your deployment or not, then you can either use this Kubernetes explain deployment or Kubernetes explain deployment dot spec. Now these commands tell you exactly which fields are available. So let's say, for example, here I can say kubectl explain deployment, and this will tell you all the fields that you can pass in your deployment manifest file. So you can see the version and the fields. So you have API version, kind, metadata, your spec, and then your status. Now, if you want to see what all goes inside the spec, then I can say deployment dot spec, and this gives me the complete information that I can pass within the spec of my deployment manifest file. So you can see replica, selector, strategy, template. So likewise, again within template, if you want to see, you can say dot template, and this will show me the information that I can pass within my template. So you can see there is my spec. Now again, let's say I'll say spec, and here you can see my tolerations and my volumes. I should be able to see my readiness probe. So basically everything. So at any point, if you're not sure what fields you need to pass or whether a field is valid or not, you can use this explain command. All right, now before we wrap up, let's quickly recap what we have learned today. We have learned why Kubernetes uses YAML. We have learned about key value pairs. We looked at lists. We looked at why indentations matter. We looked at the 4 sections of every Kubernetes manifest file. We also looked at how to create a deployment manifest file. And lastly, we looked at the common YAML mistakes. Once you understand these fundamentals, reading Kubernetes manifest becomes much easier. In the next session, we are going to talk about config maps. Right now, whatever the YAML files you might be using, you might be having values like database URLs, API endpoints, and application settings that are hard coded in your YAML files. As your applications grow, that becomes difficult to manage. In the next session, we will learn how config maps solve this problem by separating configuration from your application code. Now, before I end the session, here's a challenge for you. I want you to create your own deployment YAML with two replicas running the HTTPD image instead of Nginx. Apply it to your cluster, verify whether the pods are running or not. Pause the video after this, complete the challenge, and let me know in the comments if you got it working or ran into issues. I would love to help. Now, here's an interview tip. Does Kubernetes only support YAML? The answer is no. Kubernetes also accepts JSON because YAML is a superset of JSON. YAML is preferred because it's easier for human to read and easier to maintain. But you can also use JSON to write your manifest files. Now, one final production tip. In real world projects, engineers rarely write Kubernetes manifest from scratch. Instead, they usually start with official Kubernetes documentation, or you can use this command Kubernetes create dry run client-o YAML or an existing Helm chart, and then you can customize it for your application. If this video helped you understand Kubernetes YAML, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. If you're following this Kubernetes Zero to Hero series, make sure you're subscribed because we have got a lot more hands-on Kubernetes content coming. And don't forget to complete today's challenge and share your solution or question in the comment section. I read every comment and do my best to respond to as many as I can. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.